Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video to watch. I am so grateful. My name is Afiya, and what do I want to say? I don't know what I want to say. Anyway, I hope you subscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when I post another video. You all, I'm trying to talk fast so that my videos will be shorter, but well, anyway, so today we are talking about imposter syndrome. Are you familiar with imposter syndrome? Have you heard about imposter syndrome, or have you experienced imposter syndrome? If you have, kindly leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you know, okay? If you don't know, that is why I am here. Today we are going to be talking about imposter syndrome, what imposter syndrome is, how to deal with imposter syndrome, how to identify that you have imposter syndrome, and how to overcome imposter syndrome. Do stay tuned. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern that individuals experience. It is mostly characterized by feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, and also by the person having internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Hence, the other name for imposter syndrome, which is fraud syndrome. So basically what this means is that, or how this works is that when a person is going further, succeeding in life, doing something new other than the thing they are already exposed to, they feel like they are a fraud. They feel like they don't really deserve where they are now, and in reaction to that, they start doubting themselves and having the fear that people would recognize that they do not qualify to be where they are, and that gives them anxiety, and it can later develop into depression. So yeah, that is basically how the imposter syndrome works. Imposter syndrome can manifest in almost all the areas of our lives, but it mainly manifests in our work area. So when we achieve another milestone, we feel that we are not yet equipped to take up that milestone, and then that brings us anxiety, and that brings us the fear of not being adequate enough. But apart from the work environment, we can also experience it in all aspects of our life, be it in our relationships, at school, with friendships, all of it. So if somebody is getting married and then they don't feel like they are ready to be wives, and then they become wives, and they are constantly afraid that people will get to know that they are not really ready to become wives, although they have become wives. I hope it makes sense. So the symptoms of imposter syndrome is basically characterized by feeling of inadequacy, as I've mentioned earlier. And so you feel inadequate, you start doubting yourself, you have anxiety, you can be restless sometimes, you can even be easily irritated, and if you don't identify it quickly, it can turn into depression because of your constant thoughts about you being exposed as a fraud. Yes, so that's more like the symptoms. When we talk about imposter syndrome, there are 5 main types of imposter syndrome. Like, people exhibit the characteristics of imposter syndrome in 5 main ways. We have the perfectionist, we have the expert, we have the soloist, we have the natural genius, and then we have the superman or the superwoman. So when we talk about the superman or the superwoman, they are the ones at the office that close at 8 when working hours ends at 5. They always want to do the extra work just so that they will be validated by the work that they do. Because of their feeling of inadequacy, they want to work extra hard extra long so that they will fill up their inadequacy, their feeling of inadequacy. So by doing extra more than everybody is doing, they then feel like they are attaining self-actualization, if I can put it that way. So if they are not able to do extra than everybody is doing, they feel like they are not doing their best, and then it makes them feel inadequate, and that is how come their imposter syndrome sets in. Understood? Okay. Then we have the perfectionist. These people are very common. Like, they want everything to be 100%. So when they don't have things going their way, they tend to feel like they are not doing the best that they can, and they tend to feel like they are not doing the best that they can too. If it's not 100%, they are not getting the work done. They are not doing well. They are not worth doing what they are doing right now because they cannot give 100%. If they give a 99%, they will still feel inadequate because they have to do 100%. So that's for the perfectionists. So if they don't do the 100%, they start having the feeling of inadequacy because they were not able to attain that 100%. So in a bank, your manager, he doesn't get to his target. He gets one CD short of the target, and then he feels like he is not equipped enough to be the manager or the salesman or whatever because he could not reach the target or exceed it. He wants everything to be as perfect as possible. If not, he is not qualified to do it. That's for the perfectionist. Then we have the soloist. The soloist works in a way that, as the name implies, they want to do everything on their own. So the feeling of imposter syndrome comes in, or the feeling of inadequacy comes in when they are not able to do everything by themselves and they have to now ask for help, or people have to come in to assist them with the work that they were supposed to do. They feel like they were not adequate enough. Their self-sufficiency was not enough, and that brings them the feeling of inadequacy. I hope you get me. I'm trying to break it into simple terms as possible. That's why I'm still processing as I am speaking. Okay, so yeah, the soloist, they just want to be single. They just want to do everything on their own. If someone assists them in doing the job that's supposed to be done, then they feel inadequate. Hence, the feeling of imposter syndrome or fraud syndrome or imposter phenomenon sets in. Then we have the natural geniuses. The natural geniuses typically are able to work with ease, or they are able to pick up things or skills at a very fast rate. So if we go for an IT training, they are supposed to get whatever we are training them in at the first go. If they struggle a little bit before they get it, they start feeling insecure and inadequate because naturally they get everything easy for them. I know you have that friend in school that would always cry when they don't get 100% in the mathematics. They could be likened to the perfectionist and also natural geniuses because it's always come easy for them. So this one that they struggled with, they feel like that is the end of the world. They feel like they are not sufficient anymore. They feel like that's the end of the road because they couldn't pick it up as fast. So that is how the natural geniuses operate. Yeah. And then we have the expert. Lastly, we have the experts. The experts derive their self-sufficiency from having knowledge and skills about a work or event or happening. So with these kind of people, as the name implies, they have to have the expertise in their area of work or their field of work. If not, they'll feel like they are inadequate. So example, if the person is a nurse and then just one time the person is asked of a nursing management or a nursing procedure and the person is not able to answer correctly, the person feels that they are not supposed to be nurses because they couldn't come up with the needed skills or the technical know-how or the knowledge that qualifies you to be a nurse. So just that one time, when they are not able to get the right skill, the right answer, the right knowledge there, and then they feel like they do not qualify to be in that field. So basically, that's the 5 types of imposter syndrome. That's how the imposter syndrome is characterized. Let's move on to how to deal with it. Stated, it's a psychological pattern, it's a psychological phenomenon too. You can only deal with it with the mind. And so the first and foremost step to dealing with imposter syndrome is to identify that you truly are suffering from imposter syndrome, and whatever that feeling of inadequacy is not normal. Identify that you have imposter syndrome. Number 2, accept that you have imposter syndrome or you are experiencing imposter syndrome, or whatever you are experiencing is not normal. Acknowledge it. So the first step is to identify, and the second step is to acknowledge. They always say that a problem shared is a problem solved. But if you don't acknowledge that you have a problem, you cannot own it. Talk less, share it. So you have to acknowledge that what you are suffering from is not normal and that it is imposter syndrome. Are you getting some moments? If you are, kindly leave a comment. Let me know if this is familiar to you, like if you've ever experienced something like that. Okay, that's your way of acknowledging it. So after acknowledging it, you now do the mind work. What are the concepts, what are the narratives that you formed about yourself that is making you feel that feeling of inadequacy? Have you told yourself you are so stupid, you can't do this simple task? Have you told yourself you don't deserve to be here? Have you told yourself there are a lot of people that are more qualified than you are? What are you telling yourself? What are you feeding your mind? The next step to dealing with imposter syndrome is countering what you have fed your mind with. What is the narrative? What is the self-perception that you've given about yourself? You have to now counter that one. So if you've told yourself that you are not worthy, you have to now tell yourself that you are worthy. Like, there is nobody deserving more than you are. And even though you come with 1 or 2 flaws, you are still the best. You are still the best. And you can do absolutely great, just as everybody can. Okay? And then the next thing is to share. Share. Find people that you can be accountable to. Tell them about what you are going through. Share with them and let them keep tabs of you. Let them become conscious about your speech, how you talk about work, how you talk about your feelings of inadequacy. Let them prompt you whenever you start talking down on yourself. Let them be there for you. Get accountability partners who would help you to root out all the negative things that you formed about yourself so that you'll be able to counter it. As we said, the basic ways to counter imposter syndrome or to deal with imposter syndrome: identify, acknowledge, counter your self-perception that you formed about yourself, share, and then get accountability partners that will hold you down. I really hope you've learned a couple of things from this video. Do let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Love you. Bye.